have a lot of ground to cover today. First of all, Government Motors, who, as you'll know, electrified the whole industry, and Matter, who were confident in catching up to and exceeding Tesla in the United States in terms of electric vehicles sold by last year. Maybe we'll check back in and see how that went. Have announced that they expect a mere $7.1 billion to go down the drain in Q4, almost entirely relating to a quote-unquote EV pullback and some China restructuring. Government Motors said Thursday will record $7.1 billion in special charges for the fourth quarter of 2025 related to its pullback in electric vehicles and restructuring efforts in China. Of that $7.1 billion, the Detroit automaker said in a public filing that the charges include roughly $6 billion related to changes in its EV plans, which, as we'll know, were always somewhat dubious, amid weakening demand, and $1.1 billion, including $500 million in cash, largely related to its previously announced overhaul of a Chinese joint venture. The article continues, the announcement was broadly anticipated after Government Motors in October said it was re-evaluating its EV plans and would initially take a $1.6 billion charge during the third quarter. So we're talking about the fourth quarter now, but in the third quarter as a result. GM's new write-downs come after crosstown rival Ford said in December it expected to record a mere $19.5 billion. That's a lot of money. In special charges related to a restructuring of its business priorities and a pullback in all electric vehicle investments. Here's a quote from the Government Motors CFO back in October. Quote, "We continue to believe that there is a strong future for electric vehicles, and we've got a great portfolio to be competitive, but we do have some structural changes that we need to do to make sure that we lower the cost of producing those vehicles." Government Motors said the fourth quarter EV impairments include non-cash charges of approximately $1.8 billion. The remaining $4.2 billion that they have essentially evaporated is related to supplier settlements, e.g. GM had arranged to buy X number of parts from a supplier for their electric vehicles that are no longer going to be made, therefore commercial partners are really pissed, therefore a financial settlement for GM for fucking them over, contract cancellation fees, and other charges, which will have a cash impact when paid, of seemingly $4.2 billion. By the way, GM ain't done evaporating billions of dollars. Additional EV charges are expected to hit this year, as in 2026 again. These $4.2 billion plus the $1.8 billion of non-cash charge, that's 2025, Q4 2025. So in 2026, they expect to evaporate, who knows, presumably more billions, but less billions than in 2025, apparently. The exact quote from GM in the filing, "We expect to recognize additional material cash and non-cash charges in 2026 related to continued commercial negotiations with our supplier base, which we seemingly fucked over with our EV plans, which we believe will be significantly less than the EV-related charges incurred in 2025. The article quite hilariously continues, GM was among the first automakers to invest billions of dollars in an EV market that ultimately didn't materialize. Can anyone remind me, best-selling vehicle 3 years in a row? What form of propulsion? Oh, electric. Okay. It's not that there's no EV market out there. It's just if you can't profitably produce your electric vehicles and you're trying to compete with the company who can, Tesla, you're going to have a hard time. Not because there's no EV market, it's just that you cannot compete in said market. Allow me to refresh your guys' and girls' memory. October 2021. The very competent leader of Government Motors who did it and matters, giving the CNBS audience a wonderful demonstration of body language and incongruity between words and unwritten communication. When asked if she believed that Government Motors could catch up to Tesla by 2025, or words to that effect, her mouth says absolutely Phil, while her entire body shakes as if to say, I do not believe what I'm saying. It's almost as if she knew there was no fucking chance.
Goals that you guys stated emphatically was you will be the market leader in EVs. But right now, Tesla's at 63% market share. By 2025, some believe that you can catch Tesla. You guys are at, 9-10% right now in the U.S. Do you think that you can catch Tesla by 2025?
Absolutely, Phil. When we look at the
there it was. I covered this literally at the time and said, bro, look at her fucking shaking her head. Absolutely, Phil. Well, she's shaking her head. Yeah, she doesn't even believe her own bullshit. Less than half a decade later, We're now 2026, and yeah, they did not catch Tesla. And I guess while we're at it, anyone remember the decaying lettuce leaf, the empty vessel that had been installed in the White House to act as a puppet for those behind the scenes to pull strings? So don't go too hard on the guy who may have just been saying what he was told to say. But I do just have to once again bring this up. A truly atrocious moment of stealing Tesla's valor. Not only were they not invited to the White House's EV summit because Elon bad, but the corrupt former president of the United States, and I use the term president loosely, not sure he was really making a great deal of decisions or even able to, unbelievably, absurdly, and insultingly had this to say about GM, who at that point in time had sold approximately fuck all electric vehicles in the United States.
Auto industry, Detroit's leading the world in electric vehicles. You change the whole story, Mary, wherever you are. There you are. You did, Mary. You electrified the entire automobile industry. I'm serious. You led, and it matters.
And now, on to the next door neighbour of Government Motors in Detroit, Ford, who today have announced, there's that word again, plans to introduce eyes-off driving technology on an upcoming $30,000 all-electric vehicle in 2028. The same Ford, by the way, who have been losing billions and billions of dollars on every electric vehicle project they've thus far launched, with average selling prices closer to $50,000 plus dollars. Let's continue. Ford says, quote, by designing our own software, RIP, and hardware, RIP, in-house, we've found a way to make this technology more affordable. Because we own the technology behind our driver assistance systems, we can deliver significantly more capability at a 30% lower cost than if we bought it from outside suppliers, which makes advanced driver assistance scalable. Now, I just want to make sure you guys understand. This is Ford, the same company who could well and truly have been licensing Tesla FSD now for a number of years. Musk said Tesla's open to it, they'll do generous profit sharing, could already be producing and selling many hundreds of thousands of vehicles every year covered in sensors capable of operating Tesla's FSD, getting maybe a 50-50 cut of the profits, so call it $50 a month of recurring revenue from existing customers. But apparently Ford believes, or at least is saying to their investors that they believe, that they've found a way to both design the hardware in-house, I guess that would include their FSD computer equivalent, and the software, their FSD equivalent. Wow, I don't know how they pulled that off. Not only that, but they've somehow managed to do this for a meaningfully lower cost than they could have simply licensed FSD from Tesla for. The same Ford who, despite not having expertise in software or autonomy, but actually having expertise in manufacturing vehicles, have yet to figure out how to profitably manufacture electric vehicles, which admittedly are more a computer on wheels. But call me really dumb, maybe it's true, but if they can't make money selling electric vehicles, something that they have at least a little bit of experience in manufacturing something that's slightly similar. I mean, internal combustion engine vehicles have wheels and doors and a windshield, wipers, tires, seats, steering wheel, pedals. I mean, there's some similarities, yet they still haven't figured out how to make money on those somewhat similar but admittedly different pieces of technology. So they can't make money on electric vehicles, but miraculously, they have figured out, or at least they believe that they have figured out how to essentially solve autonomy, plus make their own hardware, e.g. an FSD-like computer, and to do so at a 30% lower cost than if they just licensed and or bought from someone else. Now, call me skeptical, but I don't believe that even Ford believes that this is true, which I guess would be a tacit insinuation that they're lying to their investors, which you definitely wouldn't want to do. But then again, we've seen Mary B. Esparra doing exactly that back in 2021 with zero consequences, although I think after that she did win Automotive CEO of the Year. Her accomplishments, of course, included having a vagina. I'm not even kidding, by the way. I covered that at the time as well. So, I mean, hey, if you can get away with it, cool. I'm sure many Ford investors are very excited about this news, and I also have a bridge to sell them. Don't forget, the same company, Ford, in December, on screen now, bro, $19.5 billion evaporated on EV investment write-downs. I just want to reiterate here, Ford destroyed almost $20 billion US on their pursuit of electric vehicles, which they were still unable to make a profit selling. But we are now expected to believe that The much simpler task of essentially solving autonomy and having designed your own in-house self-driving computer for your vehicles is a much simpler task than merely making compelling electric vehicles at scale that you can actually make a profit selling to consumers. And therefore, this project is destined to be a big success. More on Ford's recent announcement. There's that word again, plan to introduce new hardware and software thanks to our in-house teams starting in 2027 on our all-new affordable universal electric vehicle platform. And we aren't stopping at hands-free driving. Wait, did somebody say hands-free driving? That rings a bell. Hands-free driving, apparently to be introduced in 2027. So that's the initial offering, not autonomy, but that's the initial offering in 2027. Okay, interesting. But hands-free driving seems to ring a bell. Oh, hey, look, a post on X from January 2023, roughly 2 years ago. Mars writes this: despite being much less capable than Tesla Autopilot, unable to handle automatic lane changes or even slow down for curves in the road, Ford markets their Blue Cruise driver assistance system as hands-free. Well, hang on a minute. Are you telling me that Ford has allegedly been offering to consumers since January 2023 a, quote, hands-free driver assistance system? Which, I mean, admittedly couldn't slow down for curves and didn't operate on most roads. But so exactly what is new here? I'm not really sure. Good news, Ford isn't stopping at hands-free driving. They continue building on this same flexible foundation. Level 3 eyes-off driving will be road-ready in 2028, making the ultimate in-vehicle experience available for the many, not just a privileged few. God, who's the fuckwit that wrote this? If this kind of horse's ass copywriting is your career, is what you do for a living, I do pity you. None of this would be possible without a radical rethink of the vehicle's architecture. Over the past 7+ years, we've been building the capability to develop our own electronics. This team has already made a huge impact with deployment into 35 million Ford modules, by the way, that's distinct from vehicles, in the field that are of exceptional quality. The result is a more unified vehicle brain, a single, powerful module that unifies infotainment, advanced driver assistance, audio, and networking. So I'm just going to translate this. Over the past 7 years, we have finally made our best effort to tear down, analyze, and replicate a Tesla. By the way, I mean, it's a good decision to make. By doing this ourselves, we've cut the size nearly in half while dramatically increasing performance. For customers, that means a vehicle that feels more consistent, more reliable, and more capable year after year. So I hereby wish to put this on the record. I wish Ford all the best. If the folks making decisions at Ford collectively had about 3 neurons to rub together, they would already have agreed to license Tesla's FSD, saved the headache, the drama, the failures, and the catastrophic future losses. They would have realized that their delusion of thinking that they might save 30% versus just buying FSD computers off Tesla and licensing the software with generous profit sharing, that fails to account for the huge investment they're likely to make in this project, which ultimately is unlikely to bear any meaningful financial fruits. I wish Ford the best, and I would also suggest that their odds of success are approximately 1 in 500 quintillion. I'd just like to wrap up with this recent clip covering Ford's annihilation of nearly $20 billion in EVs, which obviously is a much harder problem than solving autonomy. So I'm sure the hands-off driving, the eyes-off driving, whatever the fuck they call it, is going to go totally fine. But, you know, just want to remind everybody of this totally surprising, unforeseeable, recent, very slight misstep from Ford.
Meantime, we were discussing this earlier. Ford re-examining its EV strategy in a big way. The company is going to take a multi-billion-dollar charge. Phil LeBeau joins us with the latest. We were batting it around. I want to hear your take on where things are right now, and then we'll get into it all.
Well, where they are is the company is admitting that its previous strategy, it wasn't working. Was it a complete failure? No, but it was definitely not succeeding, nowhere close to profitable when you look at their Model E business. I mean, we would routinely report when they had their quarterly and monthly sales, they were losing $40,000 per EV produced in the U.S.
But don't worry, because EVs are a much harder problem than solving autonomy. So Ford's strategy moving forward is definitely going to be very successful. And I won't be recording a video in the future where Ford is taking comparably astonishing charges on a failed attempt to solve autonomy. Nor will I be reminding everybody they could have just licensed Tesla's FSD and saved a hell of a lot of pain, never mind many tens of billions of dollars.
And that's why Ford is going to be taking a $19.5 billion charge, with most of that coming in 25, but also spread out into 26 and 27. That's all to write down their EV assets, impairment charges there, shift their production in North America. Some plants that were previously expected to produce a large all-electric pickup truck, they're going to be shifting over, maybe making an E-Rev, maybe also making a hybrid, and then there's going to be batteries for energy storage. So here's the new game plan from Ford. It's not giving up on EVs altogether. In the future, they will be smaller models. They've got what they call an UEV, an unboxed EV, new in development that's going to come out by the end of 27. That's going to be a prototype of what they're expecting. Lower price points, smaller EVs. They're going to be adding extended range EVs. The Lightning, for example, will not be a pure electric pickup truck. It'll be an extended range EV, and they're going to expand into hybrid models. Here's Jim Farley last night talking to us about why they made this decision.
Hybrid some months is 30% of our sales. Imagine having a Ford where a whole lineup has hybrids and E-Revs, and then we'll have this very affordable EV platform, UEV, at very affordable prices at 30 grand.
I almost feel bad for Jim Farley, but he is the CEO of Ford. The buck stops with him. What we're hearing now would be like 20 plus years ago, hearing the CEO of Blockbuster explaining how they're not going to pursue streaming in any meaningful way, but they've decided to expand, and in addition to having customers have to waste time, drive down to the local Blockbuster, find parking, get out, walk to the store, find something they'd like. Oh shit, it's already completely sold out for the weekend. Fuck, what do I want? Okay, I'll find something else. Blah, blah, blah. Get in line, pay for their shit and leave. There's now also going to be multiple other options to waste your fucking time collecting a physical movie when instead you could be streaming it. You'll, in fact, now be able to rent a movie and, while you're in store, also buy some popcorn. We know that's what customers really want. But wait, there's another innovation as well. You can also waste your time, come to a fucking store, look around and actually rent a film and buy some popcorn and also a beverage. We are so excited about our future. We think in the future, online streaming may form a very small part of our business, but we understand our customers well, and we know that they love wasting their fucking time coming to our store to rent a physical fucking movie when they can just stream it online, motherfuckers. God damn it. Slow motion train wreck. Misstep after misstep after misstep. Want more content? Early access, a bunch of perks, click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 has been part of my daily health protocol for almost half a decade. It's packed full of vitamins and minerals and helps me fill in nutritional gaps while supporting energy, digestion, and immune function. It also has prebiotics and probiotics to promote gut health. I take my health very seriously, and so should you. Try AG1 today by visiting drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link in the pinned comment and enjoy a free welcome kit with vitamin D3 plus K2 and AG1 travel packs. That's drinkag1.com/SMR.